Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today we're doing this Inktober themed piece, and I don't do Inktober, I don't use inks, I don't use markers, so I'm going to be using watercolors, but I wanted to participate in Inktober, so I'm going to use the themes as well. So the theme for today was lake. So I decided to paint a girl like in the lake at night with like sort of a lily pod on her head that glows underneath somehow. I don't know where I got that concept, but it's the first thing that came to my head. So here I'm just sketching it out, and I don't normally add the sketching process in my videos because sometimes it takes really long because I'm usually erasing and drawing and erasing. But for this piece, it was fairly simple because it was just her head, so it was fairly easy to draw. So here I am just drawing her head, and the lily pod I didn't know how I wanted it to look at first, so I decided to make it hang over her head on one side, like make it a giant lily pod, and I couldn't find any references for like lily pod hats, so I just imagined this one and just got it straight from my head. And for the hair, I wasn't using any references. I didn't use any reference for this piece, which is why it was a little tricky, but I've been drawing just faces for a while, so I sort of got it. I sort of got the hang of it. And for the hair, I just wanted it to be really simple, just a few strands, just drawing them in bundles, just not making anything complicated. But here I was erasing because I didn't want it. It looked too long in the water. It didn't look like it was laying on the water. It looked weird, so I erased it and drew it again. And I like this piece. It wasn't really that hard to do. It took me an hour. The sketching process and the painting process together took me an hour, so it was fairly short. And I didn't know how I wanted the background to look because I don't normally paint backgrounds, so at first I decided to add some lily pods. I think you'll see it later, and then I just erased the whole thing because I couldn't find any references for that on Pinterest. Like I could find references for the lily pods, but they weren't how I wanted them to look, so I just scrapped the whole thing, which is why it was fairly short. And here I was trying to do the details with my colored pencil, but I was too lazy to sharpen it, so I just got my mechanical pencil and used that. And for sketching, I use just a normal Faber-Castell colored pencil. It's a Color Me Grip pencil. I don't use cold erase pencils because I've never had one. I've never used one, but normal colored pencils work well as well because these are erasable, so they work well and they dissolve ish while I'm painting, and I love that look. So yeah. And the fact that they dissolve well when I'm painting and when I'm sketching on watercolor paper. I don't like to erase a lot, so with the colored pencil I don't need to, because I know the sketch marks are just going to dissolve into the paint and into the water, which is why I don't normally use graphite. So here I'm just roughly sketching the little flower on her head. I was too lazy. I was just rushing. I don't know why. I was like, I'll just paint over it with my acrylics later. Let me go straight to the lily pods. So here I'm drawing them, and I didn't know how the background was going to look at this point. I was just going at it. I didn't do any thumbnails. I didn't do any color prompts. I was just going at it. And for the skin, I just added red and yellow and some water, and yeah, that's how I got the skin tone. And I felt it was a little too light, so I went and added a little bit more yellow to it. I think you'll see it now. I added more yellow because I wanted it to be more saturated than it looked at this point. And I like to leave the nose and the sides of the nose plain white, like a highlight. I don't know, I just like how it looks. But here it was too big, so I think I'll shrink it later. And I just got plain red paint and for the blush area, and just feathered it out and blended it into the skin. And I use the red at the nose as well as the skin tone, just in the sides of the nose, because the light's coming like from her hat, like from the inside of her hat. So I wanted the top of the head and the nose and the top of the lips to be white. So yeah. So now that I'm done with that layer, I will leave it to dry and I go to the lily pod. And for this, I just got green and phthalo blue and mixed them together, and I got this color. I didn't add too much water, just a little bit of water, and I got this nice turquoise color for the lily pod. And the thing is, I just felt, after looking at it, after painting the hat and looking at it, I just felt like it looked way too blue. So on the next layer, I'll add more green to the same mixture, because I wanted it to look like a dark green, sort of bluish color. And yeah, so here I'm painting the lily pods, but I'll scrap them all later because they just feel like they don't fit into the scene as I'm going along. So yeah. And I wasn't really feeling them to begin with, so I was just painting them in, and like whatever, I was just thinking whatever, I'll just paint them in and we'll know what to do when we get there. So I wanted to do like a gradient from where she's standing in the water. I wanted, because it's nighttime, so, and the light's coming from like the top of her head, so I wanted where she's standing to be white, and it's going like light blue, then dark blue, then black, like on the water. So that's what I'm doing right now. I added white, then I add more blue, then I got phthalo blue and added a lot of water, and I did like 3 mixtures, like dark, medium, and light. Then in the last one I added black to it, just to make it really dark, just to show that that part is farther away from her, which you can see there. So it might be looking a little rough right now, but that's how it works. Like watercolors, you work in layers, so it might be looking a little rough, but it'll work out. And I don't know, I think my camera stopped recording for the hair, but it was just black, and it just colored the hair once the rest of the piece was dry. And the background, I just decided to make it plain black because I wanted her to pop. I wanted her to pop a lot, so I just went plain black. And I know it looks gray right now, but I'll go over it again with the same black, and it'll look really dark. It'll look black. So yeah, here I'm just going, as you can see, I've just gone over the little pods in the back and the front, and I scrapped them. I didn't really like them anymore. I didn't like the look of them, so I just scrapped the whole thing. And here I'm just adding another layer of blue onto the water, but I wasn't feeling it. So here I decided to add green to the whole, just to add a greeny hue to the water, and I really liked it. I don't know why it looks super blue in real life. It doesn't look this blue. As I'm looking at it, it doesn't look this blue. It looks really green, but somehow in the painting it looks, on camera it looks really blue, but in real life it looks green. So here I am going over the background with black again, and as you can see, this is a more saturated black. And yeah, and I was trying really hard to get it I was trying really hard to get it to be flat without any streaks in that, but oh my god, it was really tricky because every time I grabbed paint, the first part would look really black, then it would start going gray, and when I grabbed more paint it would look black, then start going gray, so I had to go over it again and again and again. But at this point I felt like I sort of got the hang of it and I figured out how it worked. So here I am getting in this part, this side looks really flat, so I was like, I'm gonna go over the other side again, and I just added more black and it worked out. And just from here I can see that she's popping out more, like you can tell that she's in the center of the piece and your eyes just go straight to her. So yeah, so here I'm just finishing up the background, just trying to make it look as good. And here I made a mistake. My hand was lying on the black paint, and it fell on the hat, so I had to clean it up. But I wasn't worrying because I was going to go over the hat with another color. So here I'm just darkening up the darks of the water and adding more blue and adding more green just to get that nice flat hue. And I swear it looks really green in real life, but on camera it looks blue, but the whole piece looks really green. Even the edges of the water that look blue look really green in real life. I don't know why it looks so blue on camera. I don't know why it's doing that. And it looks super saturated in real life too. So here I'm just going over, just bringing her face to life, adding more color, adding more reds and oranges to her skin, just to add more and just add more depth, just to add more saturation. And yeah, so here I'm just adding the shadows. It's just a purple, and I mixed this purple. I just mixed a deep red that looks a little purple with phthalo blue, and I got this purple. I'm just doing the under beneath the neck and beneath the lips, beneath the nose, beneath the eyes. Yeah, because the light's coming from the top, so everything that casts a shadow, I'm adding that, and I'm adding more red just to add more color because it just looked a little too flat. So yeah, and I feel like drawing pieces with the eyes closed are so much easier than drawing them with your eyes open, because I can never get them to look the same fast. So that's one of the reasons why this one was super easy. So I got the same phthalo blue and green mixture that I used for the hat before here, and I just added more green to it, and it looked better. And in real life it looks more bright green than it does here. Like the green looks more saturated, but I guess it's okay. And I can't see that black spot anymore that was driving me crazy, so there is that. And here I'm just adding a second layer of black to the hair, and because I didn't use a reference for this one, it was pretty tricky, and I didn't know how big to make that section that's covering the face, because at first it was looking a little weird, like a face looks too fat at the top, so I kept bringing the hair inwards towards the eye just to cover that, just to make it look like a normal face. So you see me go over that part again, I think. So yeah. And just going over the hair, just adding more and just make it look like it's in water and not like there are snakes in her hair. But yeah. And this was a really fun process for the hair. I've never drawn wet hair before, so it was really fun to do this. And for the skin, I'm pretty sure you can see that line in the center of her face. I don't know why, but I always forget to erase the line that divides the face after sketching. I really see it right after I've already painted the face. In almost all my pieces, I always forget to erase it, which is a good thing that I used a colored pencil because it just dissolves a little more than if I used a graphite pencil, which is one of the reasons why I like using colored pencils to sketch. So here I'm just painting the wet hair strands that are attached to her face because they make it look more like she's in water than if I just lift them out. And now I feel like now that I've outlined the whole piece, she comes to life more. And yeah, I usually outline with a pencil, but I had a lot of black paint left in the palette, so I just decided to use that. And here I'm just using watered down acrylic paint, and the color is white and red mixed together to get this light pink. It's super watered down. I don't know why I did that, because you get the graphite showing through, but I just left it. I just left it the way it was. And I didn't want to outline this because I knew the watercolors weren't going to outline it, and my pens were really far away. So I just left the graphite showing through so you can see the petals. And here I'm just adding more red to the leaves in the back, just add more dimension and depth to the flower. And I feel like it turned out pretty well, pretty good. And here I'm just mixing a yellow and white for the center of the flower, and I just added a little bit of red just to make it look warm yellow, like sort of like yellow ochre color. And I went ahead and mixed right now I think I'm mixing a white with green just to make it, just because the color that's glowing from her hair is like a light green glow color, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna go and paint the underneath of the hat with that same light green color and the sides of the hair, and just to show that it's shining on, because you know what, hair reflects light, so I'm gonna do that inside of the hair as well. And I feel like the glowing effect worked on this piece. Even though the background isn't detailed or anything, I liked it because it's a start. I don't do backgrounds at all most of the time. I just draw the piece and leave it there, but I'm trying to get into backgrounds more and trying to add more detail. So we'll see as we go. So I'm just adding highlights to the hair. It's that same light green and white color that I used for the inside of the hat. And I use it on the nose, on the top of the lips, and then the eyes as well. And I decided to add like fireflies around her later, so I'm just going to use plain white for the fireflies. So yeah, and I'm just adding those white lines just to show that she's in water, you know, because every water piece has those white lines. And yeah, I was just trying to add them wherever, just adding them randomly, just adding them in semicircles just to show that she's in water. And here the sun, I didn't notice, but the sun was just shining straight through my window, so it looks really bright on that side of the page. So if you just ignore that, thank you. And so here are the fireflies. I just wanted to add them in, just to add something more to the piece. I'm just signing my name on the bottom, Joy, and the date 20. So I know that I did it in 2020. Like, that's not obvious. So here I'm just removing the masking tape, trying to see how I got the lines, and here the paper started to rip a little bit, so I fixed it though. have it, the finished piece. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your post notifications so you can be notified